This conference will now be recorded.
So hope you guys are able to see the screen. One small request from my end is, uh, see basically I request all of you to be on mute. Okay, and I'll give some time after completion of each topic so that we can have some question and answers. This is only for today. When we start the regular sessions, you need not be on mute. You can stop me wherever you want. Okay, but this is just a demo session, right? So I don't want get to deviated and discuss or to discuss some other topics in between. So or just paste the questions in the chat window. We can go through the questions in the chat window, or at the end of the session, we anyways have the Q&A session. Okay. So what is the agenda for today? Okay, so the agenda for today is like what is performance testing, because LoadRunner is one of the performance testing tool, and for that we need to understand what is performance testing. Okay, the second point is the LoadRunner architecture, because this course is all about LoadRunner, so we will discuss about LoadRunner architecture, and we'll see what are the different components, and all the stuff, and a simple record and replay of a script. Okay, so we'll do some practical demo by recording a simple flow and replaying a script and see how it goes, and then we'll also go through the course content, and then finally we'll have the Q&A session. Okay, so this will be our agenda for today. This is the first demo session, right? So what is performance testing? We'll begin with that, but before I explain what is performance testing, I would like to add few points on what is software testing all about. First thing, uh, so so if you see in the software testing, we have a couple of important things like functional testing and non-functional testing. So functional testing is all about testing the functionality of an application. So, for example, if I if I give you a Gmail and ask you to test, whether login is working fine or not. So, what will you do? You just launch the Gmail application and you try to enter a valid username and a password, and you click on login button and you verify whether the user is able to log in successfully or not. That means you are testing the login functionality. That means the core work or the task or the job of the functional tester is to verify the functionality. So you might have heard about these job openings like functional tester, manual tester, something like that. So those job openings will come into this aspect, the functional testing aspect. So generally, I mean, if you take normal example also, for example, if you take a lift, right? So let's say you are on the ground floor. Now you want to go to third floor. What will you do? You go inside the lift and you press 3. Okay, and if you want to verify if it is really going to third floor or not, so you have to uh, open the lift door and you go inside and you press 3 and you close the door. I mean, it closes automatically, and you get to see whether it is really going to third floor or not. That means you are verifying the functionality of that lift. Okay, so functional testing is all about testing the core functionality of the application. In terms of software, it's all about testing the functionality of an application. Okay, so within functional testing, I mean, you do some automation also. Okay, so the tools that we use for automation is like Selenium, UFT. UFT is from Micro Focus only. The UFT is from the LoadRunner and UFT are from the same vendor, that is Micro Focus. Okay, so the functional automation testing tools are Selenium, UFT. Okay, nowadays you can use BlazeMeter also. Okay, but when it comes to non-functional testing, there is something called non-functional testing, where we focus on the non-functional aspects like security, performance, etc. So here we have to, because we are dealing with the performance, so our core focus will be on the performance aspect. Okay, so what do you mean by testing the performance of an application? Okay. Before I explain in terms of software application, I'll take an example of the lift again. So if you take the example of a lift, if you want to test it for performance, what you do, you go inside the lift and you press 3. Obviously it will go to third floor because the functionality is already working. Now, being a performance engineer, our primary focus will be on the performance aspect, right? So now you want to know how much time it is taking to go to third floor. Okay, obviously it is going to, obviously it will go to third floor, but how much time it is taking to go to third floor, that is important for us. Okay, now uh, if you think from a software application perspective, let's take Gmail. You enter a valid username and password and you click on login button. Now, unlike the functional tester, a performance tester will focus on how fast the user is able to navigate to home page. That means the user enters username, password, and clicks on login button. How much time it is taking, from how much time it is taking for the user to go to home page? That is important. Okay, that's where the performance tester is interested. Okay, so like when you click a link or when you click a button on any of the page, like how much time it is taking to navigate from one page to another page, that's where the performance tester is more focused. Okay, so that's the difference between functional testing and non-functional testing. So here, as part of performance testing, we use various tools like LoadRunner, JMeter. Of course, we have other tools also like NeoLoad, Gatling. Okay, we have BlazeMeter also. Okay, but LoadRunner and JMeter are most widely used tools in the market. Okay, I'm not saying that we won't use other tools, but uh, the usage, the percentage is very less. Okay, of the other tools when compared to these two tools. So LoadRunner and JMeter are most widely used tools in the market. Like LoadRunner is like licensed one. Like when you see banking and financial institutions more, like if you see, I can take some examples like any banking applications. For example, if you are in India or in US, okay, you can take some examples of many banking and financial institutions like uh, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Capital One, JP Morgan, Chase, like whatever it is. I'm just taking an example. So you see more, more of LoadRunner usage there because those banking and financial institutions give more importance to data security and all those things. They prefer licensed tools over open source tools like JMeter. JMeter is open source tools. Okay. Um, I'm not saying LoadRunner will not be used in other domains. It will be used, but I've just given an example of where it will be mostly used. Okay. So all in all, a performance tester primary focus will be on how fast a user is able to navigate from one page to another page, or how fast the page is loading, on these aspects. Okay, so now why performance testing is very very important. What happens if you don't do the performance testing? Okay, what happens if you don't focus on performance testing? Okay, I don't know how many of you remember in 2013 or 2014, one e-commerce application, they introduced the big sale for the first time. Okay, uh, I mean on that day what happened, because they introduced that big sale or festival sale, whatever it is, for the first time, it couldn't handle the load, it crashed. But that means in normal days, let's say 10,000 users access any e-commerce website, because it's a big sale, maybe 1 lakh, or or when say 10K or 100K, 200K people or users are have accessed the application, and suddenly it crashed because they also didn't expect that much load. Okay, so if you don't do a performance testing, okay, with the expected load, okay, this is what happens. And if you see after that, after 2013 or 14 till now, I haven't seen any crash or something like that, for any e-commerce website, because they are primarily focusing on the performance aspect. Okay, so now in these terms, I have used a term called load. That means I told that they didn't expect this much load on a big sale day. What do you mean by load? Load means the number of users. Okay, they didn't even expect those many users will access the application on any big sale day. Okay, so what happens if you don't do performance testing of any application? It will have a direct impact on their business case. Okay, financially. Okay, definitely it will have a direct impact. So for example, if the application is too slow, or if the page is loading forever, let's say you click on a link, if it is loading like that, what will happen? Okay, if it is for the first time, you ignore. If it is happening frequently, what will you do? You choose a different platform. Like, let's say you are playing, let's say you want to send an email, you try to attach some files, but the attachments are not being attached on time. It is taking too much time, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Okay, what you do, you choose a different email provider. Okay, if it is happening intermittently, frequently, what you do, you switch to different email provider. So that means uh, they are losing a user. Okay, that means it is going to impact them financially as well, because if they lose users, it's going to impact them financially. That's the reason. If performance testing is not performed, okay, on any application, it can have a direct impact on their business. 110% it is true. That's the reason all the companies nowadays are primarily focusing on performance, and the concepts, the tools that we are using in the performance testing or engineering space are increasing day by day. Nowadays you are seeing performance testing, performance engineering, okay, chaos engineering, okay, resiliency testing, all these advanced testing approaches are coming into picture, because nowadays any user, they don't want to wait for longer duration. If you click a link, it has to load in a second, it has to load in couple of seconds. They are not going to wait more than that. Let's say you are playing a game, and if it is not responding, what will you do? You switch to some other game with similar features, similar options, right? So performance is very, very important. Okay, it will keep on growing. Okay, so there is no end for this. No, you can ask me, sir, what is the future of performance? That no, that's what I wanted to tell. So it's very important aspect for every application, for every business. If you're trying to book a flight ticket, if you're trying to book a movie ticket, if you're trying to book a train ticket, if you're trying to transfer money in a bank, if all of these activities are running slow, what will happen? So users will switch to some other platforms. That means it will directly cause a business loss there. So that's the reason no businessmen or no companies or no organizations, they are not going to compromise on performance. Okay, so it's very, very important, and it's going to be there for in the long run. Okay, nothing is going to happen for the performance testing folks or performance engineering folks, definitely. Okay, so hope you got some idea. So with the given examples, what I can tell you is performance testing in a very layman terms. Performance testing is all about checking the performance of an application, okay, by applying some load, or by applying load. What do you mean by load? Okay, as I said, load, as of now I can tell you, like, load is nothing but number of users. Okay, without applying load, you cannot test the performance. For example, take the lift again. If you are the only one in the lift and you press 3, and you want to know like how much time it is taking to go to third floor, what is the use? Because the lift capacity is 10 people. Okay, and if you are the only one who are going to go to third floor, that doesn't make much difference. I mean, the lift will be able to handle the load easily, because you are the only user. What if 10 users, what if the max load is there inside the lift, and then if they press 3, how much time it is taking to go to third floor is important for us. Okay, that's called the performance testing. Okay, that's called checking the performance by applying some load. Okay, I've given the example of the lift, but when it comes to software application, okay, let's take any banking application. So the requirement will be something like this. When when 500 users, okay, when 500 users are using or working on bank application, okay, how it is responding? Like some users, might be transferring money, some users might be downloading a bank statement, some users might be paying a credit card bill. That means there are different users working on different functionalities concurrently. Then how the application is responding, how fast the pages are loading, how fast a user is able to navigate from one page to another page. So that is called performance testing. So when some load is applied on that application, and when you're trying to test the performance of various scenarios or business processes, okay, so that's where you do the actual performance testing. So by now, you hope you got some idea about what is performance testing all about and why we need to do performance testing, right? So this is just a very high level discussion, guys. Okay, so we have to discuss few more things in detail. Okay, so we'll be covering all those things in our upcoming sessions. Okay, so now, what are the questions you have with respect to performance testing, introduction to performance testing, and all different tools, LoadRunner, JMeter, or whatever it is related to performance testing, you just paste it in the chat window. We will address in the end. Once we complete all these concepts, we can have a detailed question and answer session. Okay. Now, the next thing is LoadRunner architecture. So because this is LoadRunner course, obviously we have to focus on LoadRunner, and LoadRunner has various components, okay, to work with. So let's see what is LoadRunner architecture. So here, um, okay, so we are going to discuss about the LoadRunner architecture. So I will explain this architecture based out of some questions. Okay, let's say there is one application. Let's say it is banking application. Okay, let's say it is a banking application. Now, uh, I want to test this bank website with 500 users. Okay. Now I want to test this banking web application or a website with 500 users. Now what should I do? Should I bring 500 people and give them 500 laptops or 500 desktops? Okay, and ask them to perform various actions on the bank application, like transferring money, downloading statement, and all those things. What should I do? Is it possible to bring 500 people and give them 500 laptops or desktops and ask them to log in, log in at a time, and do and perform some actions? It's not possible. Okay, let's say if it is possible with 500 users, but what if I want to test with 5,000 users? Is it possible to bring 5,000 users? No, not possible. So that's the reason there is one component in LoadRunner architecture, what we call as load generator. So what this load generator component will do, it will simulate the virtual users for us. These virtual users will perform the actions like how a normal user do, like clicking a link, clicking a button, all this stuff. Okay, so virtual users will be simulated from this particular load generator component. So when I say load generator component, it is also a machine, a highly configured machine, which is primarily focused to simulate virtual users. Okay, so how many users a machine can simulate? How many virtual users a machine can simulate? It depends on various factors like machine configuration, the protocol we are using, the script complexity, and all. We'll discuss in detail in our upcoming sessions. But all in all, this component is primarily responsible for simulating virtual users. Okay, that means it can simulate 500 users, it can simulate 2000 users depending on the machine capacity. If one load generator machine is not able to simulate all the users whatever you need, then you can add 2 or 3 machines also. It's up to you depending on the project. Okay, now let's say the users are ready. Okay, now we know the component that is going to simulate the users, that is load generator component. Now very important point here is, next one is, okay, you want to test the application performance, but what is that you are going to test? What are the different scenarios that you are going to test? What are the different workflows you are going to test, or what are the different business processes that you are going to test? So here the terms scenarios or business process or workflows, all these are same. So if you take the banking application, what are the common scenarios what are the common important scenarios you test? Okay, let's say one is transfer money, right? Second one is, let's say, download statement, something like this. These are the critical scenarios. One second. Very good. Okay, let me write here. So what are the critical scenarios for any bank application? So transfer money, right? Very very important, because if you are not able to transfer money, okay, it's of no use, right? Then let's say download statement, let's say pay credit card bill. These are all the critical scenarios, guys. So we primarily focus on testing the critical business scenarios. So all these are called scenarios or business processes or workflows, business workflows. Okay, if you are working in any project, in some projects they call scenarios, in some projects they call business processes, in some projects they call business workflows or workflows like that. No, I want to test the performance of a bank application. That means I'm going to test the performance for these scenarios. Okay, and now what each scenario does in detail. So let's take transfer money. How does that work normally? First, the user is going to launch the application. Yes or no? The user going to launch the banking application. Then the user will log into the bank application. Then let's say the user will navigate to let's say checking account or personal account, whatever it is. Okay, ignore the spelling mistake. And let's say then user will choose a beneficiary. Okay, user will choose a beneficiary to whom they want to send the amount. Then let's say enter amount and click transfer, and then finally log out. So these are the possible steps. Yes or no for transfer money? That means you have to develop a script, okay, which will run this flow again and again, okay, with multiple users, okay, and then we are going to analyze the performance of this scenario. So you have to develop a script, and let's say you have to run this script with 100 users. 100 users will run these steps, okay, concurrently, and then they will see how the performance is. Like, let's say if 100 people together, if they are trying to transfer money, how the application is responding, like that you have to think. So I need to develop a script for these sort of business scenarios. So that's the reason there is one component, okay, there is one component in the LoadRunner architecture, what we call as Vusion. What we call as Vusion. Okay, this is a component, Vusion. So this component is primarily responsible for developing the script or generating the script or recording the script for business processes or scenarios. Now that we have users ready, and scripts are also ready, right? Now whatever the scripts you develop, that scripts needs to be executed. Yes or no? Without execution, how will you tell like whether it is good or bad, the performance is good or bad? You need to execute, right? So for execution you need some platform, okay, like you need some platform where you can trigger the execution. So that platform is called controller or performance center, or in fact you can say LRE also. Okay, the recent one. So Vusion, what are the scripts you develop here in Vusion, those scripts you have to upload it into controller or LRE. Okay, and then you decide what type of test you want to run, a load test or a soak test. There are different types which we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay, so whatever the scripts you develop in Vusion, you will upload it here, and then you trigger the execution. You just trigger the execution, and then after the execution is completed, then there is some component called analysis, which is focused on analyzing the results. So it will give us various metrics like various graphs and all those things. Okay, uh, I mean, based on that we can analyze like whether the performance test went well, or the performance test has failed or partial success, or what went right or what went wrong. So we can analyze by using this analysis tool. It will give us various metrics in terms of graphs, and all those things, and tabular data and all those things. So all in all, these are the different components: is load generator, view gen, controller or performance center or LRE, and then you have analysis. Then there is one bridge between these two. We'll discuss in our upcoming sessions. I'll tell you in detail about this architecture. So there is one common, there is one component called agent process actually, which will act as a bridge between controller and load generator. So why it is required, where the exact execution happens, what happens if I trigger the execution, how the files will be transferred. All those things I'll explain in detail in our upcoming sessions. But what I want you to understand today is what are the different components we have in LoadRunner architecture. So load generator to simulate virtual users, ViewGen to generate the scripts, controller or performance center or LRE to trigger the execution, analysis to analyze the results. Perfect. So these two concepts we have completed. Okay. What is performance testing? Then what is LoadRunner architecture? So these 2 points we have covered. If you have any questions as of now, please do post the questions in the chat window. Okay, we will discuss that in some time from now. Now, the next thing what we are going to do is we are going to record and replay a simple flow, like 2-3 steps we are going to record. I'm going to record a simple flow. I'm going to take some sample application for today, and I'm going to record a script for these 3 steps: launch, login, and then logout. These 3 steps I'm going to record and I'm going to replay. Now, can anyone tell me which component I have to use if I want to record or generate the script? Okay, can you paste it in the chat window? Anyone? Which component I have to use if I want to record the flow now? ViewGen. Perfect. So once you install LoadRunner in your machine, you will get these 3 components you will get. Okay, ViewGen, controller, analysis. These 3 components you will get to see in your machine. Load generator, probably your laptop or machine can act as a load generator for practice purpose, no problem. But when you install LoadRunner, these 3 components will be there by default, as a separate icons. So if you want to see, those will be there on desktop. If I go to desktop, once you install, right, you can see those things in desktop. See, this is ViewGen, this is controller, this is analysis. Okay. Now, if you want to, open through search bar, you can just type ViewGen. Okay, you see, this is ViewGen. When you click on ViewGen, once you click on ViewGen, it will open the ViewGen component. Okay, so which will assist you in recording or generating the script. So once you launch ViewGen, okay, so you have to go to File. So this is a window what you see. Here you get to see what is the latest version, what are the features of it. Okay, what is the latest release, what is the new version, what are the features and all those things. What's new in 2023 version and all those things. Okay, there are different menu options also, which we'll discuss later in our upcoming sessions. But for now, I'm going to create a new script, okay, which using which I want to record these 3 steps: launch of an application, log into the application, and log out of the application. I'm going to use the sample application, okay, that is web tools for now. So I'm going to start the server for that. You ignore this, okay. Now, I'll go to ViewGen. I'll click on File, New Script and Solution. Okay, and here you have various protocols. Because we are dealing with a web application, I have to choose a web HTTP HTML protocol here. So we will discuss what is protocol in the day after tomorrow session. So what is protocol and all those things we'll discuss. Why we have to choose this, because basically we are dealing with a web application. When you are dealing with a web application which runs on HTTP or HTTPS, okay, so you have to use this protocol. Now here you have to mention, like, where you want to save the script, and this is a script name. So I'm going to change the path for this. Let me choose a different path. Okay, so let me go ahead and create a new folder. Let's say I'm going to choose September I've created one folder, and in this folder I'm going to save all the scripts, okay, for the entire course. Now the script name what I'm giving for today is demo. Okay, we'll give a meaningful name in our upcoming sessions, but for now I'm giving demo. And then click on create. Okay, don't do anything, just click on create. So this is how the screen looks like once you create a new script. This is the default layout. So whatever the script you record, the script will be generated here. You'll get to see the entire code here. So these are some of the, this is a solution explorer where you have all the supporting files, okay, global variable files, all the parameter files, the runtime settings and all those things, which we'll discuss in detail in our upcoming sessions. Okay, but for now, what you understand is whatever you record, that will be saved into this file, action file. Okay, so you see this is action file. So whatever we are going to record, the code will be saved into this action file for today. Okay, now how do you record the flow? How do you initiate the recording? There are different approaches. For example, you click a record icon over here. There's a record icon, or you go to record option from the menu bar, you click on record, or you click or hit a shortcut key control plus R. Okay, anything is fine because we have the icon directly. I'm going to click on it, record. Here uh, the few important things for today is which browser you want to use for recording. That means you want to perform some steps, you want to record some steps. Okay, which browser you want to record? You can record Mozilla Firefox, Chrome, Edge, like that. You can record multiple browsers. Let's say I've chosen Firefox. And then what is the application that you want to record? Which project you want to use? What is the application? So let's say I want to choose the URL is this for today, the sample application which I want to launch, log in and log out. This is the URL for that. Okay, so if I hit that URL, okay, so in the browser, it will automatically launch that URL. Okay, so this is the browser that I'm going to use, Firefox, and this is the URL that I'm gonna launch and log in and then log out. Then we'll discuss all the other options later. For now, I'm going to click on start recording. When I click on start recording, what will happen? The Mozilla Firefox browser will launch, okay, with the given URL. Okay, see the Mozilla Firefox has launched. Now you will see the URL getting loaded here, and then you'll also see a movable window over here. This is a movable window. It has very good options. This window you can see, this sort of window you can see in JMeter also. But in the recent versions, they improved little bit. But in earlier versions, it was not that great in JMeter. But in the recent versions, it's quite good. But it's not as good as this particular pop-up window because this is very powerful window. It has various features. Okay, I'm just giving that information because some of you might know JMeter also. You can compare it. Okay, this is little bit better than when compared to the JMeter mobile window. What you get, when you initiate recording. Okay, so when I started recording, I could see that Mozilla Firefox launched, and then I could see that the URL also launched, the application also launched, and then this mobile window. And you see this there is some number actually which keeps on increasing. So when this number keeps on increasing, okay, don't worry. Actually, the number keeps on increasing when you perform some actions on the UI. And when it is increasing, that's actually a good sign. That means the tool, whatever you are using, or the application, whatever you are recording, the tool is able to interact with that application properly. It is trying to learn that application. It is trying to read that application successfully. It's actually a good sign. Okay. Now, there are various options over here like stop recording, pause recording, cancel recording. Okay. Add comments and checkpoints and all. We'll see all those options later. But for now, we will focus on these two. Quickly. I'll explain again in detail, but for now, I'll just give a quick introduction for these two. These two are very, very important. So whenever you want to perform some step, like, I want to log in now. So you have to tell the tool that I'm going to perform login now. Okay, that's the reason. First, you have to click this, which is about insert start transaction. That means you are trying to tell the client, sorry, tell the tool that I'm going to perform login now, login action. So what you have to do before you actually perform login, you just click on this, okay, insert start transaction and give a name to it. The name is login because that's the action that you're going to perform, and click OK. And then immediately you will see the other option getting enabled, which is insert end transaction. So I have to click on it once once I perform the action manually. So I'll go to the UI and I'll log in. I'll enter username and I'll enter password and I'll click on login. And then you see the user logged in successfully and the user navigated to home page successfully. Now I'll wait for 4 or 5 seconds, or I'll wait until the page loads completely, and then I'm gonna click on this insert end transaction and I'm gonna end it because login is completed. So I'm gonna end this particular transaction. Now the next step is I want to log out. So again I'm going to click on insert start transaction. I'm going to tell the tool that okay, I'm performing logout. I've given a name for it, logout, and then I'll go ahead and I'll click on sign off link or button on the left hand side in the menu options. Okay, and the user will be logged out successfully. Wait for 5 seconds, 4 or 5 seconds for the page to load completely, and then you click on end transaction logout. That's it. So like this, for every action you perform on the UI, you have to tell the tool that, hey, I'm going to perform this action. I'm going to start a transaction for this. I'm going to perform the action, and then I'm going to come back and end that particular transaction. So this is a common step that we have to do. Once you record all the steps, then stop recording. Click on stop recording. Once you click on stop recording, the tool will generate the code for you. Okay, it is trying to generate the code for you now. So where is the code recorded? I told you that today we are going to today we are going to use action file. So in this action, the entire code got recorded. Okay, how many lines? Approximately some 50 lines of code got recorded. So to make you understand this piece of code very quickly, just see this line number 18, what it says, LR underscore start underscore transaction. So this is a function, this is an inbuilt LoadRunner function. So are you getting something like if you read this LR start transaction? So just now, few minutes ago, when I was recording the script, there was a mobile window, okay, where I clicked on insert start transaction. I have given a name login. So that particular step, okay, generated this piece of code, okay, LR underscore start underscore transaction. That means at this point, I'm going to start my transaction, which is login. This action, login is the action that I'm going to perform now. Then what did I do while recording? I went ahead and entered username and password and I clicked on login. For that action, this piece of code generated. If you want to verify, you see the username and password I entered, you could see here. Okay, so this piece of code generated because I entered username and password and clicked on login button. After that, you remember what did I do? I clicked on insert end transaction on that mobile window. That's the reason this piece of code generated LR underscore end transaction. That means here I'm gonna end login. So whatever the code that is present between LR start transaction login and LR end transaction login, that belongs to login part. That belongs to login. This piece of code belongs to login. And if you see immediately LR start transaction logout, okay, after login we logged out, right? That's the reason you see LR start transaction logout, and this is the code related to logout, and there you see LR end transaction logout. That means this is where we are ending logout. Okay, so why this type of code got generated? Why there is a LR start transaction and LR end transaction? So when I replay this script, this request will be executed. Now, if I want to know how much time it has taken to execute this, okay, so that's the reason I need to put a start transaction and end transaction. So the tool, whatever the request that is there between the start transaction and end transaction, when I replay it, the tool will calculate how much time it has taken to execute this. Okay, so that's it will calculate only when it is enclosed between LR start transaction and LR end transaction. So hope you got some clarity about it. Now, if you scroll up little bit, before login, you have one piece of code or one request I can say, one web request I can say. Okay, I'll explain all these web requests and all in detail, but I can say as of now I can tell there is some piece of code before this. What is this piece of code? Can anyone tell? Can anyone post it in the chat window? What is that piece of code all about? Quickly, can anyone post it in the chat window? Hope you got some idea about it. What is that piece of code all about, which is there before login?
That is a launch application, right?
Yes, 100%. That is launch. But can anyone tell why LR start transaction and LR end transaction is not there for this particular request? Think, I mean, from whatever the actions we performed just now, you can think. Okay, so I'll tell you the reason. We can discuss in detail in our upcoming sessions. The reason why LR start transaction and LR end transaction is not there for launch is, see, when I click on this record icon here, even before that mobile window appeared, I actually launched the application. See, when I clicked on the start recording, this URL already got launched in this browser. Even before I got that mobile window where I had to insert start transaction, insert end transaction, where I have to click those buttons, even before that, the application was launched. That's the reason I didn't get a chance to insert start transaction and insert end transaction. However, you can write it on your own. LR underscore start underscore transaction. Okay, let's say you forgot the name of it. You remember only till this extent. So here you can hit a control space and it will give you the list of functions. Okay, it is going to support. So here I'm going to choose LR start transaction, and here I'm going to write a name or give a name to it. What is the action that I have performed? Launch. So I'm going to give a meaningful name, launch. And then I have to write LR end transaction. So where should I write? After which line number I have to write LR end transaction. So after this request I have to write. So after line number 16, I will write LR underscore end underscore, okay, transaction. So here I'm gonna give a name to it. So I'm gonna give the same name only. Same name. So whatever the name I have given here, the same name I'm gonna give it here also. Okay, otherwise the script will fail. But along with that, you just have to add one more default statement keyword, LR auto. We'll discuss what is this LR auto later, but in the end transaction it has to be there. Now that you have all the transactions ready, now what I'm gonna do, I'll just replay this script once. That means I'm gonna click on this replay button over here or run button over here, which will replay this script and tell me how these steps uh, replayed and how it worked. So when I replay this script, when I run, I clicked on that play button there, the script is getting executed, and then you got the output. The script is showing as pass, okay, and you see launch, login, logout. So launch has taken 0.4 seconds, login has taken some 0.1 seconds, logout has taken some 0.2 seconds. So this is how you record the flow, okay, and then you run it or replay it to analyze, how the actions are performed, how much time it is taking for launch, how much time it is taking for login, okay, all these things. So with that, okay, I hope I have given some clarity about how this tool gonna work, okay, in terms of generating the script. This is the important, uh, you know, uh, part of the entire LoadRunner course, the scripting, not only with respect to LoadRunner, any performance testing tool you take, LoadRunner, JMeter, scripting is the most important thing. Okay, you can ask me, sir, why scripting is very important? Even analysis is important, execution is important. Yes, they are also important. But for me, as a performance tester, I give little more importance to scripting because I personally feel everyone can learn execution in a day or two. But learning scripting will take little bit time because you have to do some script customization and all those stuff. Okay, if you go to any office, if you join any project, okay, if you don't know execution, no problem. If your colleague can assist you for one day, that means if they can show you how to record, or sorry, how to execute the script, okay, how to execute the test, you will execute it. It's a simple process. Fight and okay, one day, let's say one day KT, one day knowledge transfer is enough for you, 1 hour, okay. But scripting is not like that, okay. It will take some time to learn, okay. It will not come overnight. It will take some 2 to 3 weeks to learn, at least 2 weeks to learn the scripting. Okay, and if you don't know scripting, nobody is gonna help you in office projects. Okay, they can help you in execution because it's a little bit easy, they can assist you. They you know let's say if no one is helping you, if you don't know scripting, then you will be in trouble. That's the reason I personally give more importance to scripting, because when no one is there, you have to deal on your own. But if no one is there for execution, no problem. Okay, I can go to YouTube and search one execution video, I can learn immediately. But you cannot learn everything in scripting on your own directly in immediately in your projects. It's a step by step process. It will take at least couple of weeks to learn everything scripting. Okay, so we'll focus on that for the first 2.5 weeks. Okay, and we'll practice on various applications, because the more number of applications you practice, the more challenges you face. The more challenges you face, the more easy it will be for you in handling real time projects. Okay, so that's about record and replay. And let me go to course content. If you have any questions related to these 3 points, you can post it in the chat window. We can discuss in some time. Let's quickly go through the course content as well. So this is the course content, guys. So it covers all the topics from basic to advanced. So architecture basics, okay, like what is LoadRunner architecture basics, project architecture, and all those things. Introduction to performance testing life cycle. Okay, very very important concepts for interview point of view. These four are very important for interview point of view. Okay, and then introduction to LoadRunner, installation, what are the different components, um, uh, features of Vusion tool, best scripting practices. Okay, different options in the tool, runtime settings. Okay, runtime settings are nothing but those will assist you in replaying the script. That means I just replayed the script. How did it work? Because of runtime settings. When I say how did it work, I mean based on which options it is going to run based on runtime settings. Then you have different modes of recording, HTML and URL based. Then you have checkpoints. Like it is all about validating whether you are testing it right. That means you click a link, you want to verify whether it is going to the right page or not. So you use checkpoints. Okay, if you heard about JMeter or Selenium, we call assertions there. I mean the same concept is called assertions there. Here we call checkpoints. Okay, then very important thing, introduction to C language. Most of you guys generally ask, sir, how much of coding is required? Is coding really required for this tool? Okay, I would say yes, but very, very, very basics of it. Okay, not even pointers, not even advanced concepts. Very important basic concepts. Okay, like any programming language, basic concepts like what are variables, what are data types, if statements, loops and conditions, select case statements, some functions. Okay, very basics will cover in 3 to 4 sessions. Okay, you have to master this, then only you'll be able to customize the LoadRunner script. Okay, then if you go to the next slide, here I told you that there are some inbuilt C language functions, LoadRunner functions, and all these things we have to learn. And then couple of concepts of little bit advanced C language. Like I will not say advanced, like these are also some mm, other C language concepts. Basically, I don't say advanced because that is also easy only. So when I say other C language concepts, that means how do you read data from a file? How do you write data into a file? Those concepts, very important for interview point of view. 99% they'll ask you to share the screen. If you're attending a virtual interview, they'll ask you to share the screen. I'll say, can you write a code to read data from file? Can you write a code to write data into file like that? Okay. Then what are the real-time challenges in scripting? Okay, how to answer this question in interview? All these concepts. Then what is correlation? Very, very important concepts. We'll discuss for 3 to 4 sessions. Very important that if you don't implement this concept, probably your script will be incomplete mostly. Okay, that important. Then you have parameterization. It's all about passing test data to the scripts, passing various types of test data to the scripts. Okay, like because we run with multiple users, and when you're running with multiple users, you need to pass different sets of test data. So you handle through parameterization. Then you have till here the scripting part is completed. And then we, after this, we actually practice on various applications. Okay, multiple applications will practice. Then then we develop end-to-end scripts. Okay, so that means when I say end-to-end scripts, we implement the parameterization, correlation, checkpoints, naming conventions, think time, all the concepts that we will implement. And then we will go to controller or LRE, and we will try to create a scenario, upload the script there, create a load test scenario, endurance test scenario, scalability test. Okay, and then we trigger the test from there. So this is about controller or performance center or load runner, sorry, LRE, load runner. And then analysis, you have analysis. Okay, while execution you can monitor various graphs and all, very important. Then you know, after the test is completed, you know what are the different metrics that you have to analyze. Okay, how to export a report, how to apply filters. Okay, all those stuff. And then like analyzing results and providing your observations, very very important, because that's what the client is expecting from you, to tell what went right and what went wrong during your load testing. Okay, that's what I have added a concept called how do you draft an email to send, you know, how do you draft an email to client with all your observations. Then you have, we will okay, we'll discuss about interview questions and all those things for 3 4 days. And then again, as I said, multiple application scripting practice. There is some other concept called virtual table server, which is equivalent to parameterization, but little bit different. We'll discuss about that. Then these are all the bonus topics which we are going to cover, because nowadays only load runner is not enough to crack the interview. We need to learn some concepts, you know, beyond load runner. So I have tried to cover those concepts also, so that you can attend some interviews at least. You'll get to know what exactly it means. So some, how do you handle if your tool is unable to record. Okay, what are APM tools? What is APM tool? What is AppDynamics? What is Dynatrace? How do you find metrics? How do you analyze metrics using APM tools like Dynatrace? Okay, what is CI/CD? What is Jenkins? Okay, triggering a local scenario from Jenkins. What is this TrueClient protocol? An additional session on protocol, another protocol, TrueClient. What are heap dumps and thread dumps? How to analyze these heap dumps and thread dumps? Okay, what is load balancer? What are load balancer algorithms? Very important from interview point of view. How do you connect it to database through LoadRunner? Okay, I might give you some recorded session or a live session. Anything is fine. What is AWR report? How do you find bottlenecks from that AWR report? Okay, basically related to database issues. Okay, also we'll try to cover some APIs also, like REST services, microservices, those things. Okay, uh, or at the same time we'll also provide recorded sessions for these web services. Okay, I will provide you the recorded sessions separately for web services, AWR report, this LoadRunner, connecting database through LoadRunner, and either AppDynamics or Dynatrace. One session out of these two will be live, the other one will be a recorded session. Okay, any one of these two sessions will be recorded session, other one will be definitely live session. Okay, so okay, now after going through all this important course content, now we will finally discuss about the Q&A. So now any questions, whatever the questions you have, you can post it in the chat window or you can ask me directly. Okay, so any questions related to course content. So the course, okay, uh, like the common questions I'll answer. The common questions, yeah, like course content, course duration, course uh, like daily or whatever it is, like. So the course duration will be like a maximum of like 40 to 45 sessions. I cannot tell the number of sessions exactly. It depends on how the participants are actively participating, because I'll tell you, like in recent batches, like we targeted couple of interview sessions. Okay, sessions on interview concepts, but then it ended up to 4 sessions on interview only. Okay, because they were actively participating, they were asking all the interview interview questions. Probably they are gathering some questions from some sources outside. They were asking, we were discussing about different interview questions. It got extended. Okay, so but I can say that 40 sessions will be there for sure. Now 40 sessions including all the bonus topics also. Okay, um, no, a true client protocol will not be a complete course. But what I can tell you is true the true client session what I'm going to train, the true client session what I'm going to take will definitely uh, assist you in recording the script immediately. That means um, you can directly go ahead and develop the script in true client. To that extent I can tell you. Okay, so that means once you complete the true client co session, that means the class, if you can go back to tool and you can directly record the script and you can develop an end-to-end script. That's what I can assist you. Okay. Is it compatible for any other programming language like C, Java, etc.? Okay, good question. So LoadRunner supports C language and JavaScript, but we preferred, or not only me, I mean all the performance testers prefer to use C language because in support of JavaScript was recently introduced. I mean, C language support is there since ages. I mean, you have all the solutions for all the problems. Okay. I mean, in fact, you can use JavaScript also. But what are the projects we have been working now? Earlier, all the projects or 99% of the projects they go with C language. Okay, and there should be some uniformity in your team. Let's say there are 4 or 5 team members, everyone should develop script in same supporting language. If you develop script in C language supporting language, if your colleague is developing in JavaScript, that doesn't work. Okay, but then uh, it's up to your team. Okay, and this particular database connection script is there right here. This I will okay, this we will discuss through Java vUser protocol. This we are going to discuss through Java vUser protocol. This is true client, this is web services, and other one is web protocol. So we are going to cover various protocols like this. Okay, now if you go to any interview they'll ask you at least two. Web is mandatory. Apart from web uh, they can ask you any other you can put true client database, sorry, Java user web services like that. Okay, and then yes, API performance only. When I say web service, it's API only, Ravi. It is important to have C language basic concepts, Fatima, um, because you have to customize your script once you record. That's the reason we are specifically taking 3 or 4 sessions on C language. Okay, so that you can use the same concepts in customizing your LoadRunner script. Okay, so at the end of the course, if you all of you guys are interested, I can take 2 3 sessions on Java also, that can assist you in analyzing, like or from interview point of view. I can tell you, like, couple of Java sessions also, like what are the interview questions from Java. Okay, like what is JVM architecture, what is garbage collection mechanism, what are the garbage collection algorithms. Okay, I will write it here. Actually, I didn't add that point here. So we, along with load balancer algorithms, we are going to discuss about garbage collection also. Garbage collection algorithms, concepts and algorithms. Okay, so that will be there. Daily same time, Monday to Friday. Saturday Sunday no session. You can practice on Saturday Sunday, but sometimes, probably at the end of the course we might take one session on weekend, because I want to run a load test. Let's say I need 1 hour to run a load test, and then I want to create that scenario. I need some 15 20 minutes. I want to run the test. I need 1.5 hours, something like that. So one session somewhere in the middle or somewhere at the end, we will take 2 hour session, because we have to run a practical load test, right? So there we have to, I need some couple of hours for that. Okay, that is one thing. um, Oh, Vasi, very important, because that's the reason we are practicing on 5 applications. Otherwise, not required, Vasi. So you see, scripting practice on multiple applications means, what does it mean? It means we are going to develop end-to-end scripts. Okay, on various applications. That means end-to-end scripting includes correlation, parameterization, checkpoints, think time, naming conventions. Each and every concept will be implemented on various applications. Okay, why? Because as I told you, I personally know the importance of scripting. Okay, I've seen many performance testers working in projects facing issues in scripting. They say 3 years experience, 4 years experience, they join the project, they face issues. I don't want my participants to face that issue. Okay, I want my participants to practice multiple applications, to understand challenges in various applications, and know how to deal various errors or various issues that you get, various challenges that you get. Okay, definitely every concept will be covered on various applications. Okay, so any questions? Okay, someone is asking privately, sir, if I have some questions on JMeter, will you assist? Yes, definitely. This is LoadRunner course. Okay, I may not be able to teach you complete JMeter because I'm not, I don't have that right. But if you have any some questions on JMeter, you can definitely reach out to me offline also. Okay, I can assist you. Okay, anything, LoadRunner, JMeter, BlazeMeter, anything. If you have any doubt, you can reach out to me. No problem, anytime. No limitations, Deepali. Performance testing. I mean, you have various tools in the market, right? Uh, like LoadRunner, JMeter, and all. Uh, you can ask any performance tester, who are working since 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, like that. There is no other tool in the market which is as tester friendly as LoadRunner. LoadRunner is a tester friendly tool. Everything will be installed in the same tool. I mean, if you install LoadRunner, that's it. Open the tool, practice, develop the script. Unlike some open source tools like JMeter, you have to download plugins. If you want to integrate with Selenium, you have to use the Selenium plugin. If you want to develop a scenario, you have to download some other plugins, Ultimate Thread Group, and all those things. Okay, if you want to do so many changes in the properties file, all those things, no need of doing all those stuff here. Everything is inbuilt. That's the reason this tool is a benchmark tool in the performance testing space. Okay, you can browse, like, you ask any seniors. If you ask me what is the benchmark tool in the market, LoadRunner. No tool can match LoadRunner. Okay, I can assist you on that. JMeter is good, but it has some limitations. Okay, but it is not that friendly as user friendly as LoadRunner. Okay, that's what I feel, that's what many performance testers feel, but it's up to individual. Okay, you can differ with me, but it's up to you. Okay, now one more important question, most of you will ask, sir, which one I should learn, LoadRunner or JMeter? Okay, you said that both are most widely used tools in the market, but which one should I use? The current market trend is such a way that they are expecting you to know both the tools, because they might use LoadRunner, but suddenly they might use JMeter. They might use JMeter, suddenly they might want you to know JMeter LoadRunner. Or if you know LoadRunner perfectly, they assume that you can pick up JMeter also because the concepts are same, only implementation is different. So the thought process is different. For example, if you are attending any interview, if you know Java, if you don't know Python also, sometimes they will take you. Why? Because, or let's take this way. You attend interview, they will ask you to write a program, that they will say you can use any programming language to write the program. Nowadays it is most common. If you attend any interview, they are not asking you to write in any specific language. You can write in C language, you can write in Java, you can write in Python, whatever you want. Why? Because they want you to analyze your coding skills, not programming language skills. If you know the coding, if you are good in your thought process, that means learning other programming language is simple. Only the syntax is different. The implementation is different, but the concepts are almost same. Okay. Here also, if you know LoadRunner, okay, that's fine. JMeter you can learn easily. If you know JMeter, LoadRunner also you can learn easily. Okay. The expectation is that all the performance testers should learn both, but please do not learn both the tools at the same time. That is my personal opinion. It's up to you. Okay, learn one tool first. Either you start with JMeter or LoadRunner, and then you master that tool, and then you go to other tool. Okay, there are some participants whom I know, they learned both the tools at the same time. They ended up learning only 30% or 30 to 40% of both the tools, which is not required, which is not sufficient. If you are having 30 to 40% knowledge on these tools, and if you go to an interview, you'll not be selected for sure. You should have at least 70-80% knowledge if you have to crack the interview. So learn one tool first and then switch to other tool. That is my personal opinion to you, personal suggestion to you. Okay, so Jonathan, all the sessions will be recorded, and it will be shared with you on a day-to-day basis. Okay, which you can refer for lifetime. Okay, you can open in future. Let's say after 1 year also or 2 years also, you can refer them again and again. Okay, Satish, practice. Good question. So once we start practical sessions, that means once we start C language concepts, once we start C language concepts, okay, I will be giving you some practical assignments, okay, and if you have any doubts, okay, we can schedule one weekend sessions to clarify all your scripting doubts, okay. So scripting is important, practice is important. So yes, we will be focusing on scripting assignments as well. Okay, I think I have answered all the questions. Okay, I've gone through all the chat window. I don't have any other questions as of now. Any other questions? Without geometry, is LoadRunner sufficient to get the job? It depends. Okay, again, good question. Nowadays, I told you that market they are asking at least couple of tools like LoadRunner and JMeter. Okay, well and good. But what happens is in some companies, especially service-based companies, okay, let's say you're attending any service-based companies like Tech Mahindra, TCS, Infosys, okay, like that, or in fact any product-based companies also. Some projects, what they do is their requirement is on where all the applications what they are using is they are using only LoadRunner tool. Okay, they're not using JMeter in their company. So or they are not going to use LoadRunner in their project at least, because let's say the scripts are already there. The scripts are already there. They are developed in LoadRunner. They are using the LoadRunner. Now the tester has resigned and they are moving to some other company. This has to be backfilled. No, you are going to attend interview, so they will focus on LoadRunner only. It's good to have JMeter knowledge, but the primary interview questions will be on LoadRunner only. Okay, because I've taken many interviews. If my project is demanding only LoadRunner tool, I will focus only on LoadRunner tool. Okay, I'm not going to ask more questions about JMeter because I know a person if the candidate is good in LoadRunner, they can definitely do JMeter also. That's not a big deal. If the candidate is good in LoadRunner and good in performance testing concepts, anyone can switch to other tool easily in within no time. So that's the reason interviews happen in this approach also. If you are good in LoadRunner, if the work is on LoadRunner, they will ask only LoadRunner, and they will ask some out of the box questions like from this out of the box syllabus. They will ask you something out of the box like APM tools, some questions on CI/CD, some questions on true client, some questions on what is thread dump, heap dump. Okay, like that. Okay. Hope I answered all the questions. Okay, perfect. So if you have any questions in okay further, please do ping me on WhatsApp. I'm there in the group. I'll ping you right after this session. You can reach out to me for any other course related questions directly. If you have any payment related questions, you can reach out to Kumar sir. Okay, Kumar sir is also there in the group. They will reach out to you. In fact, if you want to go ahead and discuss with them, you can reach out to them. If you want to ask any course related questions, any technical questions, do reach out to me. Okay, so I'm stopping the recording here. Okay, hope you guys don't have any further questions. I assume that. Perfect.